Hi, this is Everett, Everett's Watercolors. Welcome to my studio. Now today I'm going to do a live demonstration on watercolors. And I'm in my studio broadcasting live to YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitch, and later on into Instagram. And in my studio today with my wife, Gloria.
Welcome, everyone.
And she'll be monitoring the broadcast and also checking the chat room for me. If you have any questions or comments during the broadcast, write me up a little chat or a question, and I'll go back to you as soon as I can. Even after the broadcast, you can put comments in the description below, make a comment to this video, and I'll go back to you as soon as possible. Now today I'm going to do I'm going to do with flowers. I'm going to do a still life, but a little bit different. Last weekend I was out looking for subject matter, and I went to the grocery store, and I found a nice display of flowers. And so I set up my easel or my palette and so forth right there in the store, and I did a quick color sketch. I took a photograph and I brought it back to the studio. So that's what I'm going to paint today. I'm going to paint a still life of a flower from a store. So let's go to my painting table and let me get started on description. Yeah, overhead. Let's see. Close up. All right, I'll take you to the close up camera. Okay, this is a photograph of the display that I saw in the store. Look at that, a beautiful really attracted me to this. A lot of flowers in there, but this one really attracted me. And I like the composition. It's really, if you look at the composition, it's really a triangle. The top here, the apex, and you've got the triangle this way, over here, and up to the top again. And then the triangle, your eye will follow down and going around, and then come on back down again. So there's a good way of getting the eye to move through the painting just by setting up the arrangement. Okay, and I like the colors also. So this is the photograph, and I transferred it to my. Well, I did a pencil drawing of the composition of the flowers. But then what I wanted to enlarge that. This is like an 8 by 10, so I want to enlarge it, put it on a quarter sheet of watercolor paper. So I transferred this sketch over to my watercolor paper. And let me take you over to my palette. So this is my watercolor paper. It measures 11 inches wide and 15 inches long. That's a quarter sheet of Gemini 140-pound archival watercolor paper. Okay, and over here my standard palette, which you've seen many times if you've seen my broadcast. But my colors I'm going to be using today, my color plan. From the photograph, and we'll go back to that in a few moments. There's orange flowers, so I got some orange there. A lot of green, a lot of greenery, light, middle, and dark greens. There's also a deep red, this is a Glycerin crimson. And then I got a little special background using Quinacridone violet. So I've got the colors here all lined up. I got this is my orange deep over here. This is what I'm going to start out with. I'm going to start out with those orange flowers. So I'll come over here. I'll get the color ready here. I'm going to start with this yellow, orange deep, and I'm going to pick up a little bit of yellow deep and give me a little combination of those two colors. So this is orange yellow, and this is yellow deep. These two colors right here. I may put a little bit of yellow in there later on. Okay, so I'll start out with that, and I'll come back to the palette when we change. So I'm using a 1/2 inch brush here to get started. And I'm going to do the whole painting with the majority of the flower painting with my brand new silver brush Dagger brushes. And I've got the black velvets. I got two black velvets. One is the 1/4 inch black velvet. Look how sharp that is. That comes to a nice flat surface, a nice sharp point. Then I've got the 3/8 black velvet from a silver brush. And then I got the larger one. I got the golden natural 1/2 inch Dagger. Okay, and I've got a video on my website that shows you how to on YouTube. It shows you how to use these, a demonstration. But you're going to see how I use them today. Those 3 brushes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to load up my brush. I'm going to paint in the orange flowers first. I'm going to start out with the small or the 1/4 inch silver brush Dagger. And I'm going to load up. When I load the Dagger brush, I load it up from the side, just like I do all my brushes, whether it's a round brush or a flat. And really, the Dagger Brush is really a combination of it's really a combination of the rigger brush and a flat brush. You'll see that in action. So I'm going to load it up with both of those colors, orange and a little bit of that yellow deep. Get a nice full load. Now I'll take you over to my close-up camera. And what I'm going to do, my plan is to go ahead, I'm going to start out with the orange flowers along here. If you notice, there's 5. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One equal number, which is a good artistic rule. Is try to use the odd numbers in your composition. So I'm going to start over here on this left side over the flower. So, and I'll just use the tip of the brush and turn the brush over, get the other side. And what I'm doing is I'm painting negative around this white flower. I'm going to use the white of the paper for the white flowers. So that's my color that I'm not going to take out of the palette. The palette's going to have, or the white flowers are going to be the paper. So I'm painting negative. I'm painting negatively around this flower shape. I'll load the brush again to the side, and I'm going to come down here. And there's another flower down here I want to pick up. This one right here. So I put the Dagger brush. I paint the tip. And then I roll it to the side to get the brush stroke on the side of the brush. Then I come over here with I turn the brush around a little bit, get the other petal. I'm painting around that white flower right here. I'm painting around this white flower right here. Negative painting. Then I'll come over and get this edge over here. I'm going to turn the angle the brush here on this side. I'm using the tip of the brush. Give me a little detail. This is as small. This is a 1/4 inch, so it's a lot, almost like a liner brush. I'll load the brush again, get some more paint in there. And I'll come down here and get that last petal. This big petal down here. So I'll lay the brush on the side. Let's start from this angle. I'll just turn the brush a little bit and get the other side of the brush, get that angle. And I'll check my shape. Okay, I like that. All right, this up here, I like this one here. Get a little sharp point on that. Okay, all right, that's 2 of them. I got another one up here on this side. There's a 3rd one up here, which is kind of a combination. I'm going to treat it as one flower. So lay the brush down. And I do a little side stroke. I'm using the side of the brush now to get this large petal. Using the side of the brush. I point the brush to get the roundness, and then I use the side of the brush to get the shape. Okay, get that down there. And load the brush again off to the side, and okay. And I'll use this. I'll lay down the brush on the side. Use the tip of the brush to get a little more control over the shape. And now there's a red flower here. It's pretty hard to see in a photograph. But there's a red flower right here below the yellow orange. I'm going to shape this petal here a little bit better. Make this more round. Use the tip of the brush. Okay, well that's 3, and I got 2 more over here. So load the brush again on the side. Come over to my palette. And there's this white flower, so I'm going to paint negative around that also. This white flower here, I'm going to paint a negative shape around it. Use the side of the brush to get the shape of the petal. So there's really two flowers here together, one on top of the other. One's overlapping the other, so I'm going to paint them both simultaneously as far as the shape goes. I'm loading the brush and the palette on the side, bring it over to the painting. So this orange color is the brightest color of the paint, and nice and bright. And of course the white of the flowers is also another bright color. And of course the white paper is my whites. So basically I'm only using like 5 colors today, including white, which is the white of the paper. Okay, now I got one more flower down. This one down here, and I can get that edge here. What I'm going to do is lay the brush down on the side, and then do a little side stroke, get that shape, and then bring the point down to this angle here, get the shape of this flower. So I'm using the point of the brush, the side of the brush. I'm turning the brush over to get different angles of the brush. This one here now, I'm going to start down here at the base, and then brush to the side. There's a petal hanging down here. I'll use the tip of the brush to get that. And there's one more petal. So I'm taking a little more time. These are more defined as far as the pictures, as far as the photograph is. This is more defined as far as shapes and so forth. Okay, I'm going to let that dry. Okay, now let's go back to I'll go back to the overhead again. Overhead. Okay, so now the next color I'm going to work on is the green. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up my middle size, which is my 3/8 silver brush, 3/8 dagger, and I'm going to mix up some greens. So what I'll do here first of all is make sure get that little bit of orange out of there. Clean out my brush a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to start with a lighter greens, which is green number 1. And I'm going to have a little bit of green number 2. I'm going to have all 3 greens. There's green number 2, which is a middle value green. I'll put that here in the corner. That's this middle value. And then I've got a darker green, which is hooker's green, which will be up here. Really, really dark. Okay. Okay, there's my mixtures of my green. Now I'm going to mix a little color with that. I don't like to have pure color out of the palette. I like to mix it in with a little bit of it. So I'm going to take a little bit of this yellow. This is yellow lemon over here. And I'm going to mix it in with the green number 1. Give it a little lighter, brighter color, which a little bit of yellow will do. And just a tad of yellow in with this middle. So I have it gives me a little more yellow in that, a little brighter color, but it's still a little bit darker. And on my darkest one up here, I'm going to add a little bit of ultramarine blue up here, a little ultramarine blue. And put that blue in with the green, and I'll get a nice dark mix. And you notice when I mix the colors, I don't go into the puddle. I stay out on the perimeter, and then I mix the colors gradually from the inside out. So there's my darkest color right there. Okay, watch out my brush. Okay, now I'm ready to paint. Okay, and I've got my 3/8 inch dagger here, and now I'm going to take you back to the overhead again. There we are. Okay, the close-up camera. And I'm going to be using both brushes. I'm going to be using the 3/8 inch, and I'll be using the 1/2 inch. I'll be using the 1/2 inch also. This is the golden natural 1/2 inch, and this is the 3/8 inch silver brush dagger. So we'll start out with I'm going to start with a lighter color. You can see up here at the top here, at the very top, the color is a little bit lighter up here. So I'm going to load my brush on the side. I'll take you back. Now load my brush up. I drag the brush into the puddle, load the brush on the side, get a nice full brush load. Also shaping the bristles so I get a nice shape. Okay, I'll take you back to the overhead, close up. Okay, now let's start up. I'm going to start up here at the top, and because I want these to dry down here a little bit. So I'm going to start. There's a lot of these buds up here in the top, which are still there. This is some kind of a lily plant. I think it's part of the lily family. I can see just the way the shape of the flower. Shape those leaves. Get some more green. I'm going to come down. I'm going to build up these lighter greens right here. So I use one side of the brush to bring it down. Then I turn the brush over, get the other side, and bring it down. That gives me a leaf shape. Isn't that nice? And then I can use the tip of the brush and bring in the. You can see the stem here. Just dragging the tip of the brush down. There. Now, this one up here is a little bit darker, so I'm going to pick up a little bit of the middle. And over here, I'm picking up now, over here on the, I'm picking up that middle value over here with the same brush. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to paint that top one there. So it's a little bit darker up there, so I'm going to just follow the color plan from the photograph. And twist the brush from one side to the other, get that shape. Okay. And what I'll do now, you can see the stem here is a light green, so I'm going to pick up some of that light green with the same brush. Go back to the palette. And I'll get this stem here. So the dagger brush, all I do is use the point of the brush and bring it right on down. Just like that. So let's see. So I've got I use the same brush, and over here now I'm going to put in some of these leaves up here at the top. This one here is kind of shaped. Got a curve to it. And this one's got a little flatter. It's at an angle. You know, it's not really, you don't see the whole leaf, you just see the edge of it. But it's a little bit thicker. I bring it on down to this point here. And you can see how much control I have with these with a dagger brush. I really can go in there and just precisely put that in right where I want it. Now going back and get that light. I'm going to get this one in here light. It's light green. I load it with the light green mix, and come in here. Now what I do is I lay it down, get the point at the top. I lay it down on the edge, get the angle, get one side of the leaf. Then I flip the brush over, bring it down, and get the other side of the leaf. And I can fill in the middle with the point. And I'm going to leave a little bit of white paper showing in there. It gives a little bit of highlight, a little bit of maybe a stem and the leaf and so forth. I think it gives a little more interest. And I'll come on down with that same, a little bit of that color. Here's the stem down here. I'll get that in. And I'll get this other stem over here. You can see how just pointing, just bringing the dagger down just does a nice job. While I'm here, I'll go ahead and put this this stem over here, tie this together. Then this stem down, there's a stem over here, but thicker on this one right here. All right, now I'm going to change brushes. Now I'm going to move to the half inch. I'm going to move to the half inch. I'm going to start with the medium value. Go to the overhead and go mix up that middle value. I'm going to put just a touch of yellow in there. So I'm loading up the half inch now. And go back to the, what I'm doing is getting back and forth here so you can see everything. I got the palette moving, and then also I've got the, I've got my close-up here so you can see my painting. Oh, and also, I wish you to see the photograph I'm painting from. So now I'm going to get this leaf over here. I want it branches out here. So I point the edge, and then come back and paint the other side of the leaf. And there's a leaf here. So I'm getting some. I'm not going to get all the leaves. I'll get. I'm just getting a representation of some of these shapes. Just enough to indicate the composition, and the shape, and the colors that are available. So this is. I'm still using I'm still using a medium green paint, but I'm using the larger brush. I think a little bit down. I can start picking up a little bit darker paint now. So I'm moving into the Hooker's green, and there's a leaf back here I can get. This leaf right here. It kind of defines this flower here. So this edge here. Okay. There's a leaf here. Haven't drawn that in, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. So this one here, I'm going to use the point of it, do a drawing, bring it on out, and lay the brush down, do the point to point, lay the brush down, and then do a little side stroke, and come in behind that stem right there. I'm painting that leaf right there. Okay, there's another leaf in here. So I'm going to fill in some of these the greens now, the greenery, and I'm going to avoid the whites because that's the white flowers. I'm going to stay with the large brush here. I'm going to pick up some of the light. I'm going to pick up some light color now with the. Paint this leaf right here. There's a large leaf right here. So a variety of green colors. That's what I'm trying to do. Just a variety. Trying to use the photograph. You know, the reference photograph is a little guide to get into colors. They don't have to be exact. They're just a representation. That's the white flower. That's the white flower. Now I'm going to come down here now. We'll get a little more of that darker green now. And here, this is where I get close to the white flowers. So I come in here and I'm going to shape these out.
We had a comment that the Dagger Brush is very effective on the leaves.
Yes, I just started using these about a month ago, and I've been painting with them a lot. Plein Air on locations and things like that. And I really like the differences, the different strokes I can do with it. Because I can treat it like a flat brush. I can treat it like a round brush. I can also treat it just like a rigger because it has a sharp point to it. So it's got all three attributes: flat, round, and pointed. Bring this leaf down here. Now there's a flower right there, this white flower. Now when I get these leaves in, I'm gonna go around. I'm gonna do a little background work around these, so that'll finish up the outside of the flower. And in the meantime, we're just gonna get parts of it. So So I'm going around and get edges. I'm getting edges of these. I'm painting in some of these petals out here on the side. There's one over here. That defines this edge over here. So the green leaves are defining the white flowers, along with the yellow, along with the orange, yellow-orange. That's a red one. I got some red in here too. All right, and there's a little bit of greenery over here. I can get that in. I get dark. I'm loading up my brush from the palette with dark green. I'm going in here now and getting this dark leaf over here. And it also what it does, it borders that orange flower, and it's also bordering the white flower. Kind of defines that edge. And when this is done, there's going to be a lot of abstract shapes here. But the thing about abstract shapes is they're going to look. Does it look like flowers? Does it seem like a flower? Then it's got to be a flower. Okay, now down here are some leaves hanging down. What I'm going to do is get the point on, drag the brush. I'm going to turn the brush over, get the other side. Gives me a nice curve. There's a stem, dark stem here on this particular bud here. Get a leaf around this orange flower. There's some over here. I'll get this one over here. Some leaves around this bottom. Okay. And you'll see here when I'm finishing up here, you're going to see I'm leaving a lot of white paper showing, just to give a little sparkle, to give it just a little bit of reflection from the light here. That was in the location I painted it. I'm painting this, and there's some red down I'm going to put in a second here. Okay, and this green comes up here. It fills in this area. There's some leaves down here. There's a big leaf here hanging down at the bottom. I'll get that. Using the edge of the dagger, using the tip of the dagger. And there's some leaves here on the tip of this. This will define that section. Some green in here. Doop, 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 doop. This section in here. Okay. Okay. All right. I'm gonna put that brush aside for a moment. Okay. Now I'm going to start putting in some of the background. The background I'm going to use. Two more brushes. I'm going to use a quill brush for wetting the paper. Now I'm going to mix. Let's go back to my palette. I'm going to mix up a little bit of quinacridone violet. So I'm going to make a little purple mixture here. I'm going to use so while that's drying a little bit, I'm going to start with get some of the background in. I'm not going to, I'll finish it up when I got to go back and put in some red flowers, but right now I let that dry. Now I want to put, that's reddish, so I'm going to pick up a little bit of the ultramarine blue and make that a little bluish violet, make it a blue violet. Okay. Okay, so now as far as the background goes, what I'm going to do now is I'll stay over here now with the palette and with the paint. So I'm going to use the quill. I'm going to go in and put a little bit of water, get some water around the edges here, and start getting the mixture going here. So I'll wet a little bit of the paper. Then I'll pick up with the number 16 round. I'll pick up the blue violet, and I'm going to come in right around the edge of the flowers, the leaves, and so forth. This is what I'm going to do, and you'll see that start picking up the shapes of the flowers. I'm going to paint some of the interior shape, shadows and so forth that are showing through the flower itself. Leave lots of white paper showing also. I'm not going to cover up every part. Leave some white. Get that nice and loose. Pick up some more water. I need to keep this nice and wet around here. So this is one of the ways I have found to put a background in, is to mix up some colors you want. So this purple is a nice contrast against these orange yellow flowers, and also it's complementary with the greens because it's got blue in it. Blue and green is analogous. They're closer to the color wheel. The orange and the purple are complementary. They're opposite. So you get a nice little change. I'm going around some of these white petals here. Okay. There's a lot of area to cover over here. So when you start out with a painting like this, you might want to start with something a little bit smaller, and then gradually build to a larger format. But I decided to go ahead and use a larger format so you can see more detail what I'm doing. So this demonstration is to show you how to paint certain sections. Of course, the big deal here is I'm using the photograph as a reference, and I already painted this on location, so I know some of the colors I used, I'm using the same colors I used in my sketch, and I'll show you my sketch also at the end of the painting here. Okay, so I got to come up here. That's a white flower. You can see this purple, this bluish purple now is really setting off. It'll set off that white paper. And make the flower really come off. Right here, you can see the white showing up here really good. I'm working on the edges now to get the shapes. One of the things that you need to do I'm doing here is mix up enough color to cover the area, because there's a lot of color to put down. I thought you think you start out with a lot and then wind up having to paint in more. So I'm going to go on down here. I'm wetting the paper enough so that the paint will flow. And take a tissue. If I covered up some of the flower, just pick it up with a tissue, like I did right here. Don't want that purple to get on top of the flower petal. So I just pick it up with just take a clean tissue and just pick it up.
What brush are you using?
A number 16 round. Number brush I'm using is this is a 16 round. It holds a lot of paint, and I can also, with a round, I can also do a lot of detail work on the edges. It comes to a point you can see I can paint around these shapes real quickly with this pointed round brush. But with a 16 round, it's got a large belly to hold a lot of paint. And the tip of the brush comes to a nice point where you can do a lot of detail work. Right here, what I'm doing right now, going in and painting around these flowers, going around the leaf shapes. Okay, wow. Some of the sections are already drying, which is okay, but I'm going back and kind of going over a little bit with the brush just to combine some of those colors. Okay, now there was a couple flowers in the middle here which I left out, and this is where I'm going to use the alizarin crimson. So I'm using the there was a red flower in here. Let's see, it's right here. Yeah. I can't tell. They look almost like I don't know what kind of flower this is, but it's got a big, bright red or dark red blossom to it, which shows off that green real nice. And there's a large it must be I think it's probably several here, but I'm going to go ahead and make it one color in this section. So alizarin crimson, very dark, very rich, dark red, which is an interesting color. It gives a nice, beautiful contrast to all these other colors. And there's another one down here. I'm just going to put 3 of these in. There's one down here, 1, 2, and the little one down here. So make this a little bit smaller, maybe make this smaller. So make this large, make this medium. So I got a small, large, and a medium size red flower right there in the middle. Now I'm gonna let that. I'm letting it dry by itself now. And if I move it around, the paint will move. Which is okay. Now I want to get the baseline here. There's There's a couple of little details here that I can add. This thing was sitting in a pot, so I'm going to use a little bit of burnt sienna here. A little bit of burnt sienna mixed in with my ultramarine blue. And I'm going to go ahead and put the pot in. The pot goes down right here. So indicate that there's a container this flower is sitting in. I'll put that down here. Make this nice and flat edge on the bottom, on the tabletop or counter. Paint that a little bit more. And I'll bring it over here. Okay. Now the table, the counter itself is a little bit of a gray tone. So I'll use a little bit of Payne's gray down here. So now I'm using the side. I'm using the side of the brush now. I'm taking the side of the brush, loading the color into the brush, and just dragging it along the side. So I'm using a rigger now, almost like a flat brush. So this is kind of like the countertop where this flower is sitting on. Kind of set it down something strong. Then level it off to an angle. Now you'll notice, it looks dark here, but watercolor dries a lot lighter. So you got to put down color. It's a little bolder than you think. So that's going to lighten up about 40%. So if it looks dark now, it's going to be about 40% lighter when it dries. Okay, down underneath there, I'm going to make this just color this in with a very light wash down here at the bottom. Just to eliminate the white paper, but also to give it it's a different tone. Shows the side of the counter or whatever is light, and the countertop is dark. Okay, let's see. Yeah. Okay, I got a little bit of moisture on the side. I'll make sure I don't get too much running back on the painting itself. Okay, let me take a look at my design here. You can see there's the texture up there. That's just background texture. I mean, don't worry about that. It just gives you an abstract background. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a little more definition to the flowers. Let's see. I think what I'll do is add some more of that. Come down here and clean off put more water down here. And pick up some more of that violet behind the flowers. And on this side over here, let's see. I'll take a look at my design here. I have there's a couple little details I can add that make a little difference here. Let's see. I've got green now. I got some leaves I want to add in now. So I'm going to take the small, the quarter inch dagger. A little bit of that number 1. And I'm going to put in, what I'm going to do here is put in another leaf over here. Adding some more leaves, some more coverage here of some leaves around these flowers, defining the edges of the flowers. Okay, one last touch. I want to add in some yellow. And what I think I'll do is I'll take the, I'm going to take the 1/2 inch golden natural. I got some yellow lemon here. And I'll take you over to the close up again. You can see here, I've got the orange flowers in, I got the white flowers here, the 2 up here, I got 2 up here, a couple here. This one here was supposed to be a leaf, but I went ahead and covered it in green instead of white. I didn't want to leave that white, so I put green over here. And as you can see in the center of these, there's a little bit of yellow, or yellow-green, so I'm going to put that in. So this flower here is going to have just a touch of yellow in it. Little stems and a little section in the center. This one over here has got a center over here. This will kind of define where the center of the flowers are coming out. And let's see, this one here, I'm going to put one in here. And one up here. And add one up here. Okay. Okay, I'm going to put the dryer on, and let's see, before I do that, let's see if I can pick this up a little bit over here. The background was still wet, so when I put the green paint on there, it went into the background. So I'll just pick it up a little bit, kind of reduce the greenish part, let that dry, and I can go back and add, if I want to, I can go ahead and add it in. But, you know, sometimes you let the green, it could be a reflection. It could be a reflection or whatever, so you don't get too worried about that. Okay. All right. I'll leave that kind of abstract looking, not too much detail, just the flowers I see, and I painted what I saw there. And the background, I think, is okay. So let me put a mat around it. Okay, let me put a mat around it. When you put a mat around the flowers, when you put a mat around a painting, it really improves the viewpoint, and it gives you a chance to see a little bit what it's going to look like on a painting. Bring this down, okay. All right. So I think I'm going to stop right there. I think I could touch it up and do some other things to it, but let me show you. I did a color study when I was at the store. I can show that to you and show you. It's about the same, but it's a little bit smaller. Let me bring that over and show it to you. Okay, this is the color study I did from the actual on location. And this is this is my my visual journal, which I use for my travel set, and I take it on my walk and sketch adventures during the weekend, and also during the week when I go out and walk. I do a little sketch. So this has to be just something here. So I did this little on location study. This was really Plein Air. I did a quick color study. Then when I brought it back to the studio, then we wound up with today's painting. Up a little bit closer. Okay. Abstract wise, impressionistic wise, if it looks like a flower or seems like a flower, then it's a flower. I like I put that red in there. That red really added to the color combination. The red next to the orange. I think that the three red flowers there really added to the orange. You didn't see that in the very beginning, but when I put the orange in, it was just all by itself. And then the triangular composition that brings you in, and you go up the triangle, and then you come back down, and your eyes will circulate around the painting, whichever way you go around. But that's what the composition will do. It'll take you around, up, and bring you back down, and so forth. And yeah, I can do a lot more shading, shading on the. I could do some shading on the flowers, but I'm going to leave it right there at that. So let's go over to my main camera. Okay. All right. Well, that completes my demonstration today. A couple lessons learned. Using a Dagger brush, I think, is very appropriate, because you can do a lot of things with a Dagger brush. You can do side strokes. You can use the tip of the brush to get a lot of detail, and then use it for stems, and also like I showed you. As far as an opportunity to paint, if you're somewhere, like I was in a storefront, I saw the flower, I took a photograph, and I did a quick sketch, and I really liked it. I really liked the design and so forth. So you can find a subject matter almost anywhere you go. And what I do is I always have a sketch pad with me wherever I go. You never know when you're going to find something that's interesting and something you may want to document and so forth. Then I took a photograph also to give me some more detail when I came back to the studio. So that concludes today's demonstration. I'll be back again next Thursday at 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time with another demonstration of watercolors. And I think next week I'll be doing a landscape. That's what I'll be doing. An outdoor landscape. Then tonight at 7:30 I come back and I'm simply drawing with Everett. I'm going to do a drawing of a 3-hole punch. So join me tonight at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then on Sunday I put out anyone can draw with one line only. And you might enjoy watching that too. Now if you're subscribed to my channel, you will see all the videos that are being broadcasted or on live on my YouTube channel and on Facebook. So I want to thank you all for watching. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if this is the first time you see my channel. Subscribe to my channel. Give me a thumbs up, and I appreciate any comments. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So until next week, you all stay safe. I'll be back at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on drawing. And tonight at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Simply Drawing with Everett. Okay.
And you have one-line drawing on Sundays.
And I mentioned that also. We mentioned that I'll be doing a one-line drawing only on Sunday, be released. Okay, until next week, on my next live, you all stay safe, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye.